So, welcome everyone to Psalms for Life, in which we take a different chapter of Psalms each week. Let's see if I can adjust this camera. Take a different chapter of Psalms each week, explore it. And we want to thank the sponsor of this series. It's a very big undertaking because there are 150 chapters. Esther Elagorovich, and may she and her family be blessed with good health and with success and long life and simcha nachas, and may she and us and her family all together merit to be a part of the geula, which of course is happening right now as we speak. And this psalm is interesting. It's a very long psalm, but because there is a lot of repetition, I might be able to get it done today in one shot, and rather than dividing it into two classes. And this psalm is a segula for a couple of things. The first is to understand how to deal with evil people. We can't envy them, but we also shouldn't focus on them. We shouldn't be overcome by their power and so on. We'll talk about that. And also, this is a segula, very important segula right now, to gain the strength to commit to Torah principles, Jewish principles. It's a psalm that helps us develop emunah and bitachon and hope in Hashem and belief and commitment to his Torah. And as we go through it, you're going to get glimpses of why this is the case. Okay. So I will begin with saying that Lamed Zayin 37 says over and over again in different ways not to envy or imitate the wicked, the evil. So I do want to say that involves, when really contending with evil, not to imitate their motivations, obviously, okay? When we see their success, we must strengthen our emunah and bitachon, faith and trust, in Hashem, and not be like them. We have to put Hashem in front of ourselves and focus on Hashem, and not so much focus on them if that is going to interfere in our connection with Hashem. Okay. Now, most Mefarshim say that this psalm is referring to not envying the rich who turn their backs on Hashem. Okay, the wealthy who ignore Hashem and his Torah. Okay. However, this really is referring to all our enemies. I have sources for this, who have turned their back on Hashem or have distorted their relationship with Hashem, like today's Yishmaelim. Okay, oops, I just spilled my tea all over. Okay. And it might seem to us that these Rashayim are successful, or they could be successful, but we are assured by David HaMelech that Hashem is going to cut them down. But again, the key is our connection to Hashem. Okay, now I'm going to begin. LeDavid al tischan, bamreim al tikane beose avalim. To David, do not contend, okay, with the evildoers, the mereim, and we'll talk about what that means, and do not envy those who commit injustice. So whenever a psalm begins with to David, le David, the Zohar HaKodesh tells us that this signifies that this psalm was written with Ruach HaKodesh, and it's speaking to us directly with prophecy. Now, we know from previous lessons that all psalms are prophecy, and all psalms were were composed and received and given to us with Ruach HaKodesh. However, the Zohar is pointing out that specifically with these types of Psalms, we have to understand the prophecy is very, very direct. Okay, it's palpable. Now, it begins with don't contend with evildoers. Okay, and the idea is that why shouldn't we contend with them? So Rebbe Nachman explains to us that if we're not righteous or worthy, we might not merit Hashem's protection. Chas v'shalom. Okay, I'm assuming everybody here is righteous, everybody here is worthy, but we only compare it to ourselves. So, for example, which I spoke about last week, Rebbe Nachman says that when we daven, we shouldn't daven on our own merits. We should daven, we should connect ourselves to the true tzaddikim and daven specifically that we receive, okay, whatever we receive and are asking for from Hashem's Otsar Matnas Chinam, his treasury of unearned gifts. And this is the same principle. We shouldn't get in the face of evil and provoke it, because if we do, we are going to be losing Hashem's protection, because that's not what we're supposed to be doing. And we don't have the merit necessarily to receive more of Hashem's protection. So sometimes the ruach of evil can be very strong, especially we see this right now. Okay, we see that because the struggle is like the struggle between Yaakov and the Sar of Esav, the angel of Edom. Okay, because of that, what we see right now, excuse me 1 minute, I'm just muting someone. What we see right now is that as the struggle to birth the Geula intensifies, evil intensifies, it's fighting. Rest assured that there is an equal and even greater measure of good that's fighting. Okay, it's just evil is more apparent, and it's more tempting sometimes to act without rational thought, and to even act without faith and trust in these situations, because they are provocative situations. However, we need to, according to Rebbe Nachman and according to our Gedolim, first engage in tefillah, and then maybe in some places political action might be necessary, and so on. Obviously, it depends on who you are and what your situation is, but we have to speak out with wisdom. We cannot lash out. We cannot provoke. Now, this goes against the grain of some people. Some people are fighters, okay? I know I'm pretty hot-tempered myself. However, we aren't supposed to contend with anti-Semites. We're not supposed to debate them. We're not supposed to try to convince them. We will fail, because this argument isn't about land, as everybody knows. It's not even about religion, really. What it's about is the battle between good and evil. Good will win. It's Hashem. But what we find, let me just let this person in. Okay. But what we find is that our job is to first daven. Everything else follows. And if you're examining yourself, you're going to find that your saturation point for Tehillim and Tefillah in general, you're going to find that your saturation point is a lot higher than you think it is. Some are able to daven all day whenever they have a spare moment. Now, who are these Mereim? So these aren't just Rishoyim. These are people who are evil, and they're worse. They entice others to do evil. They entice other people to drop their basic level of morality and give in to their basis hatreds. Okay, so that is who David HaMelech is speaking about. Now, the Midrash quotes from Mishli, King King Solomon says, don't let your heart be envious of sinners, only fear Hashem all day long. Okay, so why is this keep talking about envious, and why is the Midrash referring to this? So the Midrash is saying that envy is part of our nature, okay? And it's very difficult to eradicate. Everybody's jealous of something. So we need to, in a time like this, where we're surrounded by evil, we need to reflect back on ourselves and examine where we're jealous and where we're envious. We might be very, very surprised. We might be shocked if we do this, okay? And we can transform this, says the Midrash, by spurring ourselves to greater levels of Yiras Hashem, by being in awe, by being envious, so to speak, of those greater than us, those who are able to daven more than us, those who have more Torah knowledge than us. That kind of envy, if we turn it to pushing ourselves to go up, pushing ourselves to improve, that's a healthy kind of envy. And in fact, any kind of midah we can use for good. This is the transformative power of our negative traits, of our character traits. And what's interesting is that when we're dealing with evil, such as the evil in this world, when we transform pieces of ourselves, parts of ourselves for good, when we work on ourselves, we're not just affecting ourselves. We all know we're one neshama, the Jewish people. We are affecting each and every Jew, okay? And when we affect each and every Jew, we are affecting the world, and we are adding more drops of goodness into the world. So don't ever feel that your improvement in any area, whether it's transforming your envy to envy of good, okay, to motivate yourself, whatever tshuva you do is vital to the story of this world. It's vital to the story of the Jewish people, and obviously vital to your own life. You have to believe in yourself. You have to believe that every drop of goodness counts. Rabbi Nachman explains that even a little is also good. I'm going to go into it tomorrow, I think, in a mini lesson. I don't know, I have some ideas about that. We'll talk about that tomorrow. Now, we're going to skip base. I am skipping because I do want to get through as much as possible today. We'll go to Gimel. B'tach b'Adonai v'aseh tov. Shechan eretz ure emuna. Trust in Hashem and do good, that you may dwell in the land and be nourished by emunah. So this idea of trusting in Hashem, he's giving us, David HaMelech is giving us an outline for how to improve. Trust in Hashem. Increase your bitachon. Okay, bitachon in times like this is absolutely necessary. Emunah is our faith, and bitachon is when we actualize our faith. Emunah is belief. Bitachon is living that belief. We're trusting and we're doing. We're really putting that faith into action, okay? And when we do this and we're inspired to do good, we can dwell in Eretz HaKodesh and be nourished by emunah. And that's the food of the land, okay? And even if you are in Brooklyn or Texas or Australia or wherever you are, even if you're not in Eretz HaKodesh, even if you're outside, you connect to the concept of the land. One of Rabbi Nachman's famous bechina, as he calls it, okay? This idea, this aspect, this concept of the land, and you connect to it, and you connect to that level of emunah. A Jew, wherever he is, can be connected to the land. We see this today. Now, Rabbi Nachman says that if a person doesn't have bitachon, he can't give tzedakah properly, okay? Either he or she won't follow the laws of giving tzedakah. They'll give what they feel like when they feel like, or they will follow the laws but won't give wholeheartedly because they're going to be afraid they're going to lose out. Now, we know that tzedakah we never lose out from, and now's the time to really maybe take a close look at the laws. It's so important to give to Israel right now. So important to give to programs that benefit Israel and also benefit the Jewish people, lift up our spirits, and so on, because giving tzedakah is one of the 3 pillars that avert a harsh decree. They are, of course, teshuvah, tefillah, and tzedakah. And okay, let me see. So this is one mitzvah that we are allowed to test. Everybody should know that. I'm sure you've heard this before, that you are allowed to give tzedakah on money that you think is coming to you, even if you don't have it yet. You're allowed to give meiser chomesh. Many in Breslov give chomesh. And by giving that, that money will surely come to you. You will surely not lose out. You will surely even have plenty more. Okay. Rabbeinu Bachya teaches that this verse begins with trust and ends with emunah. Okay. And we saw that it begins with trust in Hashem, okay, and then ends up with nourished by emunah. And the idea is that trust is more important when it comes to these matters than faith, okay? It has a heavier weight. I explained in the beginning a little bit about how trust is the application of our emunah, okay? Bitachon is the application of our emunah. Okay, now, I do want to say that, so I'll tell you what Ramban says first. Ramban says that everyone who trusts has faith, but not everyone who has faith trusts. And I want to say, without any judgment at all on anyone, okay, no judgment at all, that some people are finding it very difficult today. I would say I never compare anything to the Holocaust. Unfortunately, today, I think we have to. And I will say that I see most people's faith and trust are being strengthened. Some people are really struggling with this, okay? So without judgment, if you see someone struggling, okay, say a kapitel tehillim for them, okay, and lift them up, help them, remind them that Hashem is here. Whoever they are, might be a family member, might be a friend, might be a coworker. And in fact, it might be someone with very strong emunah b'tachon who is just struggling in the moment. So we all have to give each other encouragement and make sure we're connected to the idea of the importance of emunah and b'tachon. Okay, now, I'm going to skip a few more. Okay, let's see. Okay, so we're going to go to Hey. We're going to go to 5. Go al Adonai darkecha uvtach alav v'hu ya'aseh. Cast your way, cast your path upon Hashem, and trust in him, and he will act. Shift your burdens on Hashem. Trust in him. When we do so, he will act, okay? It's true we have to make hishtadlus, but before we take a single step, we need to throw the weight of our worries on Hashem. How do we do this? Verbally. Hashem, I'm not going to, I know I'm going to take this action step. I need to do it right now. I need to, whatever it is right now, do volunteer work, just take care of a family, whatever it is. I need to focus on something right now. I'm going to trust in you and rely on you. And you're going to come through for me, Hashem. Because why? Because David HaMelech, with the Ruach HaKodesh that I mentioned, the Zohar HaKodesh, spoke of. The Zohar said that this is a prophecy for each one of us to take to heart. Every word of this particular song, take it to heart. Okay. Continuing, let's see. Very quickly, we'll do Vav. Vahotzi ha'or tzidkecha, umishpatecha katza ha'raim. Okay. And he is going to reveal your righteousness. It's going to be a ha'ur, like the light, and your judgments like noon. Okay, like Saharaim, okay? And what this is, very quickly, is the entire world is going to know that the Jewish people speaks the truth. This is what the Radak says. Our righteousness is going to be displayed to the entire world like a bright light. Okay, so hang in there. The whole world, right now it's bothering you what the world thinks. It's not bothering me so much what the world thinks. I'm more worried about what's going on in the head of people close to me. To be honest, I just want to support people, and I want their support. But if you're worried about what the whole world thinks, don't worry. King David just told us the whole world's going to know the truth about us, what righteous people we are and what good people we are. Okay, I'm going to continue. Okay, I think I'm going to skip that one. This is really important. For some people, I think this is important. Cheref me'af va'azov chema, excuse me. Al tischar ach lechareya. So, David is telling us to give up anger, to get rid of wrath and rage, and do not compete only to do evil. Anger is a form of idol worship. Don't get angry back at the wicked. Some people are really, really tapping into their anger right now. Just trust in Hashem. Play your part, but don't do it out of anger. Do it out of bitachon. Why? Because if you're attached to anger, I'll tell you the Kabbalah of it. If you're attached to anger, you're feeding the negative klipos of the other side. You're feeding their dark energy. Because I read something interesting, and my husband and I were discussing it. It just popped into my head now, and I forgot the source. Please forgive me. But this idea is that when we attack them with the same hatred, just like we talked about in the beginning, and we forget our faith, and we're just angry, and we hate them, and so on and so forth, and we're not davening for the good of the whole world, their accusing angels can say, look at these people. They're angry. They're filled with hate. But when we attack them, we have to attack them. But when we attack them through prayer, and we do everything we do, whether it's a soldier or not, and we do it keeping Hashem in the front of our mind, they're accusing angels, no leg to stand on. It's going to fall right over and go up in flames. Okay, so remember that even though anger, yes, it can be transformed, it can be a motivator in some situations. In this situation, far better to connect to the idea that we're relying on Hashem and not giving in to hating with hate. Okay, I'm not saying we should love them. That's not what I'm saying. Okay, I hope that's very, very clear. That I don't want anybody to think I'm saying anything politically correct, because I'm not. Okay, let's skip a little bit. We'll go to Yud. What time is it? Okay, we have time. This verse I really would like to talk about, because this is one of the verses that Rabbi Nachman bases his lessons on. This is the verse that he bases a Zamra on. Ve'od ma'at ve'ein rasha ve'hisponanta al mikomo ve'enenu. Okay. In just a little bit, the wicked man isn't. He's not. You're going to look at his place, and he's not going to exist. So this is Rabbi Nachman's famous lesson of a Zamra, in which instead of looking for the wicked inside a person, looking at their evil action, okay, I'm talking about our fellow Jews right now. Instead of doing that, we look for the good in them. And when we look for the good, that's what exists, because wherever our attention is, that's the reality. And the other thing, that bad part, is gone. We also are told that we can apply this to situations, okay? We can do so much with the power of our thoughts. It's unbelievable. We can apply this to situations, and we can look at the situation, and when we see these Shoyim, uprising, threatening, murdering, lusting after evil, Okay, when we see that, what could be our response? Our response isn't, oh, how wicked they are, how evil. Our response is look, Hashem. Hashem's bringing them out in the open. They're crawling out from under their rocks. Okay, they're easy to find now. We know who they are. Okay, we know that once they're out in the open, the light of day, okay, it's going to destroy them. Okay, because why? Because Hashem's with us. And we know that this really genuinely, this genuinely is, this is, we're in the battle, everyone. We feel it. Everyone knows it. The Gedolim are saying it. Everybody's saying it. And we are in the battle right now. And hopefully this will be the last battle. Okay. We just have to hang in there with our thoughts and our prayers and our actions and our speech. I didn't want to forget speech. It's supposed to be in the middle. Okay. So remember that in situations, we also have to look for the good. And so everybody's sharing positive videos about miracles, about the Achdus, the unity of the Jewish people, the soldiers wearing tzitzis and so on. Keep on sharing this. This is what we should be looking at. We should be looking at the good. We should be uplifting ourselves and each other. We are not, again, I want to repeat, for anyone out there who thinks that that's burying your head in the sand, it's not. It's a battle, and we're doing our part. Okay, we're genuinely doing our part. Many years ago, I met an amazing woman, a Holocaust survivor. This was 20 years ago. And I won't tell the story of her life because it's just incredible. Maybe one day I will. Mrs. Newhouse. Somebody's got to ask me about Mrs. Newhouse. And Mrs. Newhouse told me she was in Auschwitz with all her sisters. And I think most of them didn't make it. And she told me, she said, Auschwitz wasn't so terrible. I said, what are you talking about? Okay, I was 20 years younger, and I was like, this woman's insane. What are you talking about, Mrs. Newhouse? She said, you don't understand. I had Sefer Tehillim memorized, and so did my sisters. So we would say Tehillim all day long, and at night when we needed to. While we worked, while we starved, we said Tehillim. One day I should just do a talk all about Mrs. Newhouse. Oh, shalom. So, whatever's going on, we have Sefer Tehillim. We have so much more too. We have food, guys. We have food. We could go to sleep at night in a bed. Thank God. There are people, the hostages right now, that can't. Think about that. And look for the good in your own life, and look for the good in the situation of the Jewish people, because there is a lot of good. There really is. And the more we focus on it, the more we attract more. As Rebbe Nachman says, your thoughts literally create your reality. Literally. He's not just talking about how we feel inside in our interface with the world. And he is talking about that too. But he's saying mamash, okay, literally. All right, let's see what time it is. I'm losing my voice. I really want to get through this psalm if possible. Okay. I'm going to skip a little bit more. Okay. This verse, 1 second, to read out of this. I want to use a particular translation here. My other one doesn't have a translation. Okay. Charbam tavo vilibam. Vikashosam tishivarna. Okay, I'm sorry. This is 15. Okay. Charbam tavo vilibam. Vikashosam tishivarna. Their sword is going to pierce their own heart, and their bows are going to be broken. We have to remember that. And that comes from us focusing on the good and trusting in Hashem. Everything follows. I'm sorry I have to skip verses, but it's just too long a psalm for me to say every verse. Please make sure that you read it, especially a good translation. Okay, read it to yourself. It's kind of hard to understand, King David's beautiful ancient Lashon HaKodesh. Okay, so with their own weapons, they're going to be destroyed. Okay, they're going to destroy themselves. They're going to destroy themselves out of hatred. Saw something interesting that the different groups are fighting within themselves. Figures, okay? They're going to let them destroy themselves. All we need is unity. When we have unity, they have disunity. We've seen that throughout history, okay? All right, let me see. Okay, Tov ma'at, sorry, next verse. Tov ma'at l'tzadik mehamon reshaim rabim. Better is the little of the righteous, or better is a few of the righteous than the multitude of the wicked. Okay. So what we have to understand is that our power, we're just a handful of people here. Our power is far greater than their power. And again, we used to look at this so much more as about our inner life, our psycho-spiritual reality. And I don't want to forget about that, because when we bring out the tzaddik in each of us, when we look at our own good, okay, as small as that may be, maybe we only have a drop of good. Okay, look at that, build that good up, and the not good is going to fall away. It's going to trip over itself on the way out the door. Okay. I want to say Reb Nussin explains that just a few who are truthful and good, all you need is a few truthful and good people. They're like a light in the darkness. They completely shatter the darkness. Okay. This one's good. I have so many commentaries here. How am I going to be able to get through this? Okay, let's go to Huff 20. Ki Rishayim Yovidu, the Oive Adonai Kikar Karim, Kalu the Ashan Kalu. So the wicked will perish, and the enemies of Hashem are like disappearing light on the plains. They are consumed in smoke. Yes, they're consumed. Okay. So there's a midrash that I read that's a commentary on this. It's like a farmer has a piglet, a donkey, and the donkey's foal, the donkey's baby. And the baby foal sees that their food is measured, but the piglet gets to eat as much as it wants. It gets to eat a lot and get fat. And the little foal cries to his mother donkey, and he says, Mama, I'm more hungry. I want more. And we just only get we get, what is it called? Measured portions, portion control. We get portion control. How come the pig gets to eat anything it wants and it keeps getting fat? And the mama donkey says, shh, it's a good thing. It's a good thing. Trust me, it's a good thing. What happens? What comes along? Okay. The pig gets slayed because it's nice and fat. It's been fattened up and it gets consumed. That's the medrash on that verse. We think about it. Okay, maybe we don't have the freedoms that the nations have. Maybe we are persecuted. No, not maybe. Okay. Maybe it's harder for us in some ways. I wouldn't say in all ways. I'd say our lives are pretty good because we have Hashem in each other, but maybe it's hard in some ways. So what? So what if we're not getting fat? Okay, some of us need to lose weight, but so what if we're not getting fat? Okay, we need to be wise like the mama donkey and see that whatever's measured out to us by Hashem is the right amount, exactly what we need. Okay. Okay, I'm going to skip that verse. Okay, let's go to Thanks for bearing with me. It is a long chapter. Okay, let's go to Chaf Zayin. Let's go to 27. Sor Meira ve'aseh tov, ushchon le'olam. Turn away from evil and do good, so that you may live forever. Now, this sounds like the previous verse. Why? Because it really is the previous verse. It's taken out of the earlier verse. So, also, this is from Psalm 34, verse 11, which we spoke about this. And we spoke about this in depth. And basically, what we said is that we should turn away from the things we're not supposed to be doing, the Torah prohibitions, and we should do good. We should do the things that the Torah says to do. Okay, in order to do those things, we have to learn what they are. In order to not do the other things, we have to learn what they are. And all of us can learn more. Nobody knows everything. So wherever you're at, learn more. Do good. Turn away. Forget the negative stuff. Now, this idea is that this is the time to do it. Okay. I saw an interview, some of you might have seen it, of an Israeli woman who the terrorists were going from house to house in her kibbutz. And forgive me, I do not know her name. Okay, I wish I did. And she took some knives out of the kitchen, took her children, locked themselves in the safe room handed out knives to her children. Could you imagine? She kept knives for herself. And she heard them with their chants and their singing going from house to house to house. And she shouted out, if anybody wants the video, I'm more than happy to send it to you. Because she was actually interviewed on television, on Israeli television of some kind. And she shouted out, Hashem, I'm going to keep Shabbos till the day I die. I'm going to dwell with you. I'm going to stay close to you, Hashem. Okay. Terrorists walked right by her house. This is a miracle. This is a nace. What is this the power of? Yes, it's the power of Shabbos, but it's also the power of turning away from not good and doing good. Okay. Each of us knows where we need to improve. Each of us knows that it's no longer, I wish it was. I always tell people, go a little bit out of your comfort level, get to that next step. Okay, don't push yourself too much because you might fall. It's a little bit beyond what you would feel totally comfortable doing. Now is not the time for that. I'm going to speak very honestly with you, heart to heart, because I've myself have had to push in areas that normally I would just push a little bit. We need to push. We need to push ourselves. We need to really grow. Now is the time to do tshuva. We spoke before, earlier verse today, about tzedakah being one of the three things that averts an evil decree. Okay, give a lot of tzedakah. We know we've been speaking about tefillah for years. Okay, we know tefillah, but also teshuvah, and each of us has to do it. And if you are somebody who's not sure where to start, and you make it to do it, you're still not where to start. You want somebody to talk to, contact me. Maybe I could be of help to you. Okay, but we all have to make a start. Okay, wherever you're holding, whatever. I mean, somebody here is totally shomer mitzvahs, still has to improve. We all do. Okay, that's as close as I ever get to giving us. Okay, but we're really in a really really serious time right now. Okay, what time is it? It's 11:43. I'm going to skip. I'm sorry. We will go to. Let's go to. Oh, this is something I would like to go to. Okay, let's go to. Give me 1 minute, please. I lost my page. Of course I did. Let's go to Lamed Dalet, I think. Hold on. Yeah. 34. Ave el Adonai, ushmor darko, v'romimcha lareshes aretz, v'hikares rishayim tir'eh. So hope to Hashem and keep his way, keep his path. And he will raise you high to inherit the land or the earth. Eretz is the land, it's the earth, it's everything. And you will witness the kares, the cutting off, the destruction of the wicked. Okay. David is giving us a prophecy. This is as much a prophecy as Cheskel or Yeshaya. Remember that. It's a prophecy for us today. Hope in Hashem. Keep his path, and he's going to raise us high. Now, like the previous advice I spoke about earlier, to trust in Hashem, okay? I said that if we trust in Hashem, then Hashem is our security. It's not this psalm, it's another one, but Hashem will fulfill our trust in him. We have to trust in him first. So this is saying hope in Hashem, and it's interesting because in the Amida, in Shemona Esrei, we say in the last line of the section of Modim, ki lo samu, ki me'olam kavinu lach. For your kindnesses have never ended, because we have always put our hope in you. We put our hope in you. In other words, Hashem's kindnesses keep flowing over us because we hope in Hashem. We want to rely on Hashem, then we have to trust in him. We want Hashem to show us our kindnesses, have us inherit the earth, see the destruction of evil. We have to put our hope in Hashem. Arousal from below, okay, initiates the flow from above. So let's all hope in Hashem. All right. Oh, there's so much more. I will do let's see. Because I'm skipping, it's just taking me a while to decide what I want to do. Sorry. Okay, let's go to do Lamed Vav. V'ya'avor v'hine enenu v'avak shehu v'lo nimtza. And he passed away, he vanished. And behold, he's not here. And I looked for him, and he was gone. He wasn't found. Okay, we're going to blink, and they're going to be gone. We will blink, and they're going to be gone. This is what is going to happen. The Geula and when Mashiach reveals himself. Those Hashoyim that the psalm is speaking about are going to disappear. Okay, so remember the Nazis, Yimach Shemam. Remember them. Okay, don't remember them. Excuse me, Yimach Shemam. But they're gone. They're just gone. Yeah, there's little spatterings, whatever. And yeah, maybe these people take up some of their characteristics. Okay, but they themselves, their whole this whole so-called civilization, it's gone. It's destroyed. And that's what's going to happen. We have to believe that. Okay. Hashem is going to save us because we take refuge in him. Hashem is going to make it so that our light is going to shine and our righteousness is going to be revealed to the world. The whole world is going to see that we are good. And more important, each and every Jew, all of us, we're going to see that we are good. We're going to see our own righteousness. We're going to experience our light. God willing, we're also going to experience together the Geula and the revelation of Mashiach Tzidkenu in our time. Okay, we got through the psalm. I'm so happy we did. I've now totally lost my voice, but we still have Tehillim to say, ladies. You're welcome, Kara. It's nice to see you here. If anybody has any comments or questions, any questions at all before I turn off the recording? You can unmute yourself, Benita. Yeah, you don't have to raise your hand. Just unmute yourself, Benita. You have a question?
No, I just wanted to say goodbye. I've got to go.
Oh, okay. All right. Bye, Benita. It's good to see you.
Great seeing you. Bye-bye.
Stay safe. Mwah. Okay. All right. So no questions. I'm going to stop the recording. And for those of you who can, please come and please say Tehillim with us. We're going to say Psalm 37. We're going to say today's Tehillim. We might say Tikkun HaKlali if we have time. Okay. All right, everyone. Let me stop the recording.